NASCAR PS4 League here on YouTube. Thank you everyone stopping in, joining us for the pre-race show. I forgot to label it as pre-race show, but it's alright. We're just about to get ready to start practice here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, known as the Yard of Bricks. A very fun, rounded rectangular track. This is the playoff cutoff race, where we find out who will be racing for the championship heading into the next few weeks. We got Las Vegas next week after the. Oh, we already have a viewer. We already have a viewer, so thank you for watching as always. And like I said, we're gonna go into Las Vegas next week with the new era, different type of cars. We got the Ford Mustang coming in, and aero package and whatnot, horsepower, you name it, it's all being changed, and I'm looking forward to it as we are getting ready for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard. We're gonna get some drivers in here, talk to them, and go from there. We have the regular season champion, Grid on Wheels. He pretty much has clinched the regular season championship. So congratulations to him. That's an extra couple bonus points going into the playoffs. Along with that, you have pretty much going into the playoffs, as of right now, the 10 drivers who, in my opinion, that cannot change is Great on Wheels with 6 wins, winning at Darlington. He has 53 playoff points. Smoke Zmog with 6 wins. He has 35 playoff points. Sports Kid with 3 wins, 16 playoff points. Harris Plex 2 wins with 10 playoff points. And then we have S'mores with 1 win with 8 playoff points. Kyle Green in the 43 with 1 playoff point, or 1 win and 7 playoff points. Bradley winning the Daytona 500 earlier this year, his only win, having 7 playoff points. Then you have Austin Johnston, Sub Vader, and KD, who are locked in on points. So there is, the field is already set. The 10 drivers for the playoffs have already been set. Nobody can change that realistically. So heading into Vegas, those are your 10 playoff drivers that are going to be battling for the championship. So it's very, very interesting, and I cannot wait. So we're just moments away from practice. We're going to take a little brief intermission and show you the regular season championship car of Great on Wheels. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently waiting for the invitation to join practice, as we just got it, but we're gonna wait a couple minutes, or a couple minutes. So therefore, everybody gets loaded up and we can start showing off practice. We had the National Series race last night, where yours truly, CFNL Predator, won. It was a very intense race towards the end of stage 2 and the final section of the race. So it was very interesting. A lot of drama. So I don't expect anything less from last night going into tonight's race, as we're just moments away from practice. Turn 1 and turn 3. Turn 1 and turn 3 are going to be very interesting. Different braking points, different places where you can lay off and go into turn 1 and go into turn 1 and turn 3 you're gonna have to lay off. You're gonna have to hit the brakes. Turn 2 and turn 4, a lot of cars are gonna go wide open, so it's gonna be very interesting. Heading into practice to see who's gonna be laying off, who's not. So as we are gonna join practice here. For the Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard. Last year, we came here. Austin Johnson, who was driving the 24 at the time, now driving the 9, was in a must-win situation. Well, I wouldn't say must-win situation. He had to beat Remix, who was driving the number 10 machine. He ended up winning that race, Remix, Bofa, and knocking the number 9 car, or I guess the 24 car, out. As we already see Austin Johnston and Bradley working together, using that draft. So the regular season champion, Great on Wheels, is not here as of right now. So gonna ride with Smoke here. Z heading into turn 1. Off the gas, halfway through the corner, got right back on it. Wide open, getting really low. Tires underneath the white line a little bit. As the 37 got underneath him right there. 47. 37. Always get the mix up. That's KD in the 47, who has just locked himself into the playoffs based off points. Draft is really going to be a key factor heading into this race. Some drivers are probably going to be working with teammates. As we saw earlier, the 48 was pushing the 9, obviously teammates. But yeah, we're going to go through the field. That's that is the 20 car of S'mores, who's been broadcasting. He won Kentucky earlier this year, getting his first win in this 2019 season. And then we were talking about KD in the 47, locked himself in based off points. Then we got the 72 of Dom Benzito, who is your regular season Truck Series winner. So gonna be very interesting to see how he does here tonight in the Cup Series car, driving that 72 machine. You have Kyle Green, who won the Daytona race in July earlier this year. And then that is, I believe that is Mike Man in the 24 machine. Can't really get a good... Yep, that is the 24 machine of Mike Man coming in, replacing Big Will after their heated drama between Great on Wheels and Austin Johnston. So replacing him, unfortunately, he is not racing for points. He's just racing for fun. Got his win at Michigan, his first career win in the Cup Series at Michigan a few weeks ago. Harris Plex, who has a few wins from earlier this year, got in the wall. Driver of the number 41 machine. See how he does heading in the next few weeks. He made the playoffs last year in the National Series. Didn't get to race. Had some personal issues going on, so got called up, and here he is in the 41 machine driving. Hopefully he can make the playoff or race in the playoffs this year. And then we got the 37 of Sub Vader. Heavy contact or heavy damage to the front end of that car. Very, very crucial. Heading into the playoffs, he has locked himself in on points as well. The 9 car, who is also has heavy damage to the front end, that is Austin Johnson, who got really loose, going to go into the grass. Hopefully he can keep it off track, and he does not. Head on into the wall, collects the 43, and then does a little donut, maybe pre-celebration already, but locked himself in on points as well. And he's going to take the car to the garage, and he's done for tonight's race. 48 machine of Bradley 88 Jr., who won the Daytona 500, being the first driver to lock himself in. And then we got Smoke Zmog, 6 wins already onto his already on one of his sorry, I try to focus. Has 6 wins, trying to add on to his 6 wins and keep this momentum going on. Let's go ahead and get the president of the league and owner of HMS in here. Gonna get Austin Johnston, driver of the number 9. Get him in here. Let's see if he joins. And there he is, Austin Johnson, driver of the number 9 Napa Chevrolet. How you doing today?
Good, doing good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. It looked like you got really heavy damage to the front end of the car. Are we going to see you go to a backup car heading into tonight's practice and tonight's race?
Maybe. Probably. Gonna make some adjustments. Kind of the wrong set of pins, so hopefully we can get something different in for qualifying and make it work.
And I was talking about earlier earlier in the stream about last year's crucial moment for you and the driver of the number 10 Remix Bofa, where you just had to finish right in front of him, and he had to finish right in front of you, and it was a great battle. But unfortunately, you had a teammate who just was helping the wrong guy. But fortunately enough, you don't have to worry about that. You locked yourself into the playoffs based off points. How does that feel heading into Las Vegas, heading into this race knowing that you're already locked in? You don't have to worry about finishing ahead of a certain amount of drivers or winning this race.
It's funny. I was talking about that. Me and Bradley were talking about that just probably 10 minutes ago. It was really unfortunate because I had a way faster car than both of them, but put somebody in a car that I thought could get the job done, and then he watching me. But it kind of made last year's race a little unfun. Not really, not fun. Just the pressure kind of made it. I couldn't just have fun with it. I had to be so cautious about a lot of things. So, I like Indianapolis. It's not my favorite, but I like it. So it's going to be nice to go into Indianapolis and just be able to race and have fun with it. Try to go get a win, get some momentum going to Vegas. Heat 3 Vegas has been really good to me. I've dominated Vegas when we went there in the first race. Had a really, well, not dominated, but had a really fast car. Was up in front for most times. So hopefully Heat 4 is the same, and we can start the playoffs right with a win.
Absolutely. And going into this race, especially last night, we saw a lot of people using drafts. We saw your team, Junior Motorsports, working really good together, bump drafting. We saw earlier in practice, you and the 48 were bump drafting each other on the backstretch. We know the draft is going to be killer, but are we gonna see teammates work together? Or are we gonna see different cars working with each other?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think teammates are going to work together when they can, but with the you can still get around and stay relevant if you're not pushing somebody. So it's not quite like Daytona and Talladega, where if you're not on somebody's bumper, you're kind of screwed. So you're dependent on it. You're depending on it, but it's not as crucial as those plate tracks. So you might see teammates working together, but if another group is running better, you might see one teammate duck off and go with them, and the other one get behind them, and then kind of regroup. But I think you're going to see a little bit of both, especially when the end of the race is coming here.
All right, and I got one more question. The big thing heading into Las Vegas is the aero package and the downforce and the horsepower being reduced, and then we get in Ford Mustangs instead of the Ford Fusions. How is your mindset going into next week? Not only is it a playoff race, but we have so many changes. What's your mindset going into the race?
I think it's great. I love it. Every year, whenever the new Heat games come out, it's always at the start of the playoffs, and I think it's really great because it's a new season, essentially. The playoffs are nothing but a 10-race season. That's all it is. It's a 10-race mini season. People that have performed well, they get an advantage, as they should. And everybody is just like from Heat 2 to Heat 3. There were some big things that were different, and everybody has to learn them, and they have. If you get the gold edition, you have 6 days to figure it out. If you get the regular edition, you have like 4 days to figure it out. So I think it's great. I think it's gonna the 4 that make the final 4. I think they're really, or not even that. Just the drivers that perform well in the playoffs. They're really gonna have to get on and learn and adapt to these changes. I think it's a good thing for the playoffs, because I think it shows that who's in the playoffs and who goes far in the playoffs deserves to, because they're adapting to those changes well and performing at the same time.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you stopping in for an interview. Hopefully we can get you in after the race and talk to all the playoff drivers and see your mindset after this race, if anything has changed.
Sounds good. Will do.
All right, good luck out there.
Thanks.
That was Austin Johnson driving the number 9 Chevrolet. We're gonna talk to a few more. Let's get the first guy that locked himself into the playoffs. Bradley 88 Jr., driver of the number 48 machine, winning Daytona 500 earlier this season. Get him in. See his mindset going into this race. And there he is, Bradley 88 Jr., your Daytona 500 winner. Bradley, how are you doing today in practice?
I could pick up a little bit more speed, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Obviously, yeah, you seem a little slow in certain corners. You're laying off a little bit more than others, but we were talking about, who's locked in, who's not locked in, and how they got locked in. And you were the first person to lock yourself into the playoffs, win that Daytona 500, one of the crown jewels. Could we see yourself win tonight here at the Brickyard and add another crown jewel victory to your belt?
Hopefully, but like I said, I need to pick up a little bit more speed to be able to contend with KD, Smoke, and S'mores, or the 3 cars that were out in front of me and I knew were faster than me. But if I can figure out where I'm losing all the time at, I feel like I can win me another crown jewel.
Absolutely. And I was talking to Austin Johnston just right before you when we were talking about the draft. You and him were working pretty well together, bump drafting each other in practice. Do you think that's going to be a big part in this race with the draft and bump drafting? Are you going to work with your teammates? Are you not going to work with your teammates? Are you just going to try to work with whoever and get yourself up front and maybe a block?
Well, I'm going to try to work with my teammates because I'm locked in. Pretty much everyone's locked in, but I'd like to work with my teammates to do a little bit more chemistry for another restrictor plate track that we have in the playoffs or in Talladega. But I'm going to just go with the flow and hopefully be up at the front at the end.
Absolutely. And one last question. Going into Las Vegas, we have the Ford Mustang, we have, the aero package, the downforce, the less horsepower. What is your mindset going into next week, knowing that basically everything has changed now? And now that it's playoff season and you're racing for a championship, how does that affect your mindset going into the playoffs?
It affects me a little bit because it's going to give everyone a clean slate because not everyone knows how the cars are going to handle in Heat 4. But hopefully it doesn't affect my speed much and I can continue to notch off these top 5s.
Absolutely. And Bradley, I really hope that we could talk after and have you and Victor Lane.
Yep.
All right. Good luck out there.
Yep. Thank you.
As we're just we're about ready to start qualifying here. Let's try to get one more guy, or get Smoke Z-Mog in here. Get him in here real quick, and hopefully we can talk to him, and who has won 6 races, one of the most dominant cars on the track. Get him in here, get his mindset going into this race, and there he is. I know qualifying is about to start here shortly, so we're gonna try to get this interview pretty quickly. How do you feel going into this race? A lot of people are saying you are one, if not the fastest cars here at Indianapolis.
Really just hoping to go in, get a win, get a little bit of momentum going in the playoffs, and just rebound from last week.
Absolutely. You had a really good car, if not the car to win. Just a lot of bad mistakes on your part or somebody else's part that just affect you. But we're talking about draft. I had Bradley in here and I had Texas in here. They were talking about draft. You don't really have many teammates. Who are you going to work with if it has to come down to working with the draft?
Anybody I can that'll help me, or I can help them get to the win.
Absolutely, and we already have the regular season championship locked up with Great on Wheels, but going into the Las Vegas, the new era, you're going to have the Ford Mustang, the less downforce and less horsepower. How does that affect you heading into Vegas next week?
Doesn't really affect me much. Just going to do the same thing I did on this package. Go out and do my best and try and win some races.
Absolutely. As we're about to start qualifying, good luck out there, and hopefully we could talk to you after the race and have you kissing those brakes.
Alright, thank you, man. Yeah.
Alright, as qualifying is about to start here. A lot of guys talking about drafts, and all 3 of them pretty much same thing, similar, saying that they don't really particularly care about the changes, that they're just going to try to go in there and be able to do what they're doing here, if not better. So it'll be very interesting heading into Las Vegas next week. So with so many changes heading into Vegas, but we got one more week as of right now, we're just waiting for qualifying about to start. We'll get qualifying underway for everybody. And we got the notification saying we can join. So here we go. 10 drivers in here. Still no grid on wheels, which is surprising. As we're just now joining. Oh no! In the backfield, the 20 car of S'mores gets into the inside wall, had contact, had a little help. I think it was the 43 that got into him. Damage to the front end and that the right or the left side of that car. That's going to affect his qualifying lap. And now into the left side, he's just not having a great qualifying car. I think NASCAR officials are going to allow him to go down pit road and get his adjustments. I think there's one other car down pit road. That is the 37 machine. As Mike Mann, the 24 car, gonna be the first car out. And we got the 41 also out, the 43 also out, 72. Oh, the 9 car. Heavy contact to the inside wall. He's lucky he is not racing him. They're trying to race his way in. He's already done that. .24 is done. 72 and 37. There's your Daytona 500 winner. And here it comes, Bradley, your Daytona 500 winner. Followed by Smoke. And S'mores. And finally the 47 car. Let's get on board with him. Listen to his engine. Very wide. And turn 3. Very tight, as you can see. as we're just rounding up qualifying. With that, we're gonna try to get a couple other guys in here. We'll get Kyle Green in here. And try to get Kagri in here. As we're gonna get Kyle Green in here. I know he's coming because he was talking about coming to get an interview. As we wait on Kyle to get in here, we're gonna look at the times. He can't join, unfortunately. So. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna back up and we'll see you guys in a bit.